If I think if I had a superpower, that would be it. Being able to solve a problem.
Hi. Today in the studio we have my longtime friend, mentor, former instructor, and personal helpline, Jason Taylor. Jason is currently the department head and research lead at the Selkirk Technology Access Center. That's a lot of words just to say that Jason is a super nerd. The kind I hope to be one day. He's incredibly giving with his time to help anyone that needs it, and he has inspired multiple generations of creative hopefuls with his generous spirit. JT is my first call when I have a crazy idea, but no idea how to pull it off. I think you'll like this one. So you're Jason Taylor, otherwise known as JT, otherwise known as the person on the other end of my phone calls when everything's going wrong and I need help. I don't know how many times you've been that person, still are, probably will be next week because I have a whole bunch of photogrammetry that was captured that I'm going to figure out how to use.
Nice.
But you grew up in Roslyn.
I did.
And now live in Castlegar.
Yep.
Went to school in Vancouver. How long did you live in Vancouver?
8 or 9 years or so.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good stint.
It was good enough. It was long enough. Realized it was like, couldn't wait to leave and couldn't wait to come back.
Yeah, I mean, growing up in a small town, I feel like that is it. It's like you just can't wait to leave. And then once you're gone, totally. It's like, oh, there's a few things I miss back there. And you went to school while you were in Vancouver for 3D. At that time, was it like architectural?
So I started at BCIT and I did like architectural, structural engineering, drawing, detailing, design, all that kind of stuff. And then Vancouver Film School after that.
Oh, okay. And what did you do at Vancouver Film School?
So it was the second year of computer animation that they offered. So I was a graduate of year 2, class 2. Which is, it's pretty epic.
That's pretty crazy.
Yeah.
So you're like Pixar, basically.
Yeah, back there, Pixar was like a pipe dream, I think, when I started. Like maybe it started in someone's basement, but it was pretty awesome. Pretty awesome adventure. I remember seeing a flyer for like on the SkyTrain, and I was like, "Oh, that sounds cool."
Crazy. So then you were there, and then when you moved back to the Kootenays, you came back. Did you have the position at Selkirk, or did you come back and then
No, I moved back to Nelson. My wife had a great opportunity to move back with the bank, and we knew that we'd want to start a family, and this is definitely where we wanted to start that. So when I moved back, I did not work for an entire year. I'd made a little bit of money when I was in Vancouver doing computer animation and working, and so I took a year off and I skied every day for an entire year, and I really got into golf seriously, and I played every day for an entire year. And then one day at a coffee shop, I met this guy worked for the college, and he says, "Oh, we're thinking about starting this program. You should come in and apply."
That's pretty wild, because so you started at the time it was called Multimedia Production and Design, and now it's called Digital Arts.
Digital Arts, yeah.
And so how long has that program been running?
26 and a half years.
Crazy.
So 1998 is when I started the program.
Right. Yeah, I think I was in the second or third.
Second year.
So from that program, there's been a lot of success for a small town community college digital arts program. There's been a lot of people that have gone on to have a lot of success in the field, which is pretty cool for something cool. That, because I remember showing up and I didn't know anything. I had no email address. I had never really spent any time on computers up to that point. And so kind of walking into the program, it felt overwhelming, felt like there's this huge kind of hurdle to even just know how to even use the tool. But you were so chill and just accepting and excited and just try this, try that, press this, doesn't matter, it won't break. And I mean, although we did break some stuff while we were there, but
Yeah, you know what? I think my philosophy has been from day one, and I don't know if if it has always been a known one, is just like if you can give somebody the chance and open a door for them, how far would they open that door, and then what's after? What will they do afterwards? And like, I still look back on that year as like the second or third year of doing it, third year. It's still one of the best because there was a few of you that never left. Like when we left that campus, we moved to a new campus, there were 4 spots. And those 4 spots, you had worn the carpet down to nothing because you were there from 7, 8 in the morning until you got kicked out. And if you can provide that opportunity and see who takes it,
yeah,
right?
And you still do. But quick story about that. I remember I made a video, and then I did these like titles in the video where it would like still frame, and then there would be like this graphical drawing I did over top of the still frame, and you were looking at it, you're like, oh, that's really cool. And you said, but what about if you made it move? And I was like, oh man. And now I've been doing motion design, motion graphics, making graphics move for 22 years, and I feel like so much of it came from that one simple, it was like encouragement or like validation of what I did was cool. Yeah. So it felt cool. It's like, thanks, I worked hard. But then that little bit of like, what about? And I feel like there's been a lot of people that have, that little what about has, because it's just a domino after that, right? Because then it's just like you
what do they do with it?
Yeah. They make it move. That feels cool.
Is it a door that opens?
Yeah.
Right. And that's, that's so true. And I totally remember it. It's like, second or third row in from the back left corner, the back right corner. And it was, the laughs that we had as a class, because that was a great class.
Totally.
And the ones after it, they were all like, such amazing memories to be able to try to impart, not wisdom. It's not that. It's like I said, open a door.
Yeah, enthusiasm, I feel like, too.
Totally.
Sometimes it's almost better to be just a couple steps ahead of someone versus like knowing way too much, because it's like you're just ahead of them on the journey. And I feel like at the time you weren't that much older than us.
No.
But you had this like amount of experience that was greater than ours. But it was just enough that it was like you were still excited about doing it, and still, to this day, you still are pushing it and learning and building. And we'll get there because you've kind of like taken what you did with that program and now ramped it up into something called the Selkirk Technology Access Center, which is a lot more on the research and then actual development and production of stuff. And in that, you've been able to pursue a whole bunch of cool creative stuff and tools and lasers and CNCs and water jets. But before we get there, because that is super cool, I just think, for a lot of people, like a creative career, I think they think about it as being on their own or being like freelance or, being an artist or working for a studio. But you've kind of been able to create your own creative career within the confines of an academic institution. But within these like walls, you've been able to like really guide your own curiosity, scratch your own itch when you took your expertise in 3D modeling and started doing 3D printing when 3D printing became a thing. And now you've like accelerated that into this massive, how many square feet is Stack?
13,000.
13,000 square foot, basically playground for nerds and creative people. Yeah. So was that like purposeful along the way?
Hell no.
No.
No, it's I think I've had the opportunity and the trust. That's a big part of it. The trust of whoever I had at the time overseeing my path or giving me the opportunity. So if it was a dean or a manager or some boss above me, knowing that they could trust me to just take the reins. So, I've had the opportunity to follow a direction, and that direction was always based on the fact that they believed I was doing it for the right reasons. And the right reasons are like, if you can give that student the option or the opportunity to pursue something new and take it to the next level, they're not all capable of doing that. But if you can open the door and give them the opportunity to try something new, but going through this latest process that I've just finished in the grant writing process, and having to look back over the last 5 years, and then that, of course, leading to the 5 years before that and the 5 years before that. What a ride, man. Like, it's been unbelievable. The people I've met, the technology I've got to play with over the time. I still think one of the proudest moments of my life was like being able to like when you asked me to come work for you for a summer. I was like, hell yeah. Like, that was amazing, man. Like, to give somebody the chance to one, work for EA and do it from Rosslyn, and then have them call you to work for them. Like, that was awesome, dude. Like, that was and the team that was there at the time were all students at one point. They were all students of mine, and it was like, yeah, that was pretty cool.
It is cool. I think, one thing you've been like exceptional at is, I think some people are gatekeepers when it comes to like knowledge, when it comes to equipment. It's always been, I find either people are good at collaborating and sharing, or I want to hang on to this knowledge,
right,
and, accelerate my own, skills and resume with it. But you've always been such I don't know what the right word is, like evangelist. Like, you're really good at like finding something out, and then like as soon as you find it out, being like, hey,
you got to check
this out.
Yeah.
And the amount of things that I've learned, or you've given me just the kernel to then like take that and do my own research and discovery. Because sometimes you just need that little bit of like, I don't even know where to start.
Yeah.
And it's like, start here. Like, recently I got to use a robot arm.
Yeah.
And to me, that's very overwhelming. I've never used one. It, has its own programming language, and it kind of, it's a big kind of thing. They use them to build cars. But I think within a morning, you'd like set it up, moved it for me, gave me access, and, gave me the tutorial in 20 minutes and said, just figure it out. And
totally.
Like, it's amazing once you don't feel worried, you're not scared of doing something wrong, how quickly you can start figuring stuff out. And
much like that very first class, right? Like, you're not going to break it. What's the worst that's going to happen? You're going to have to start over again. Like, you're not going to crash this thing. And the robot, or like the cobot, it knows that you're there. And if it hits you, it'll bump you. It's not going to bruise you. You'll know it, but taking the fear factor out of it, maybe, or the fear of learning something new, or fear of breaking it. Yeah, I don't know.
The other thing I think too is that, like, I don't know how many people I could count, but there'd be quite a few that when your name comes up, it's always like associated with like legend, or like, oh, he's the best, what a beauty. And your ability to, like, because you have, how many students do you guys have going through the STACK program, the digital fabrication? It's like,
yeah, I don't know, 20?
12, yeah, 20.
15, 20?
So you have like the students, and you have instructors and a whole bunch of things, and then you have like, you guys do projects, you do research, but it seems like you always have time for me, for sure. But then every time everybody I talk to is like, I get the same sense from them that they always feel like you have the time for them.
Right.
So do you feel like at this point in your career, do you feel like that's something that like you would be proud of, or you feel like, is that something you're, I guess, aware of, or is it just the way you're built, just the way you've always been?
If it's for the right reason, if it's for, like, I love being pushed, like challenged. So if somebody knows something that I don't know, that really bothers me, and I need to know. I need to figure out why and how, and to do it better. But if I can see an excitement on someone's face to learn or like get over that next challenge of something new, I'm there. I'm willing to help, even if I don't know exactly what they're doing, and I can, I'll go home and learn everything I can about it to answer a question the next day. I think that's still super important. It is, to me, anyways. It is. I don't know. I just love. I love interacting with like really excited people, especially when it comes to something new technology. And if you can give somebody a challenge and you see them succeed, and like it's like a kid, they've shown it. It's like, Dad, check this out. I just did this, and it's like, yeah, that's pretty cool. It's pretty cool.
It's definitely, excitement is definitely infectious,
Yeah.
with any project, just having somebody that's like excited about it, especially if you're been busy or just that little bit of like hit of dopamine, you're kind of like, getting off someone else. Yeah.
Keeps you going from day to day. Like, especially, there are times, I would say 11 months of the year, it is fun every day, but there's a month calculated over a year. Those 30 days, but may not be 30 days in a row, are super stressful. And it is going to work, if that's really what I do, but going to that place where I have fun every day, and having somebody excited about showing me something, or showing the rest of the team something new, it's pretty awesome. Or talking to a past grad, or because there's been a lot that are still excited about calling me or showing me something new.
Yeah, I think, and especially places like this that are rural.
Yeah.
We're out here, and I think that there's lots of people that would take advantage of Stack, but also things like the digital arts program, that just might not know about it, because we built this table there.
Yeah.
You helped me with this. We built this logo there. As I look around, there's so many things. I have props in the back. I have characters that have been built there. I got a character up there. I got the prototypes up there. I'll show some of these. But yeah, I think that it's like resources like this, and they might exist in other rural areas. And I just know there's lots of people that don't take advantage of them. So I would encourage people to look into their local area, because we might feel like we're a long ways from everywhere.
Yeah.
But in Trail, we have access to technology that you're hard to come by in large centers.
It doesn't come by. Yeah. There are machines that we have in Trail that don't exist until you're in Vancouver or Calgary or Edmonton, and maybe not even there.
And hard to access there for the regular.
You're not accessing it as a small business in Vancouver without paying thousands and thousands of dollars. And that's why we did it, because we're not in Vancouver. We are in the middle of nowhere, but we have access to technology that is unbelievable. It is unbelievable.
It is super cool, and I think there's lots of challenges of living in a rural area. And we don't need to get into all those, because they're they're obvious distance, being geographically isolated from big zones. But there is these advantages, and I think this is one that's not probably talked about lots or highlighted lots. But the fact that we have access, and it's right there, and it's to equipment and knowledge and skills that is incredible, and it can be organized. The line up to get in isn't super long because we live in a small area where there isn't tons of people lining up. You guys work on super cool big projects and have lots of cool industry partners, but then you have guys like me that are small time but have neat projects that need assistance. And to be able to, you know, go through your intake and then get the help, I just think there's like, it's a resource that I wish more people took advantage of.
Or even knew about.
But that's what I mean.
Because we don't advertise, we don't market ourselves, and if we did, oh my god, like we don't have time. We're a fairly small crew of very highly specialized people that I've been able to somehow con into working with me, right? And we're busy every day, and but they're all really cool projects, and if it's, you know, like you're coming in the door or Fortis, it's we have to treat everybody the same and with the same chance to use the equipment and to learn. I mean, that's our ultimate goal, is not just come in and finish a project, but you know why we chose that path or use that tool or process.
Yeah, I think that's a really cool part.
And to give the opportunity for a student to help, because that learning, work integrated learning, is just an unbelievable opportunity.
Yeah, and the work the students are doing there, like I know they're helping with like the stuff you're doing, but then the stuff they're doing on their own is phenomenal. Like they're really beautiful use of like the tools, but also like material and like design. It's super impressive.
Exactly.
You obviously have lots of large projects coming in, and they're all incredibly unique. It's because you guys don't just do one thing. You know, you're not just like, we are the wood or we are the metal it's like it's all over the map as far as materials, and then also like how you're using those materials. But I think a big part of creativity, not the only part, but is just problem solving. I think there's a lot of just like, they call it creative problem solving.
Totally.
And I think what you guys do every day really well, and you especially, is creative problem solve. So I feel like that must be, for you, like such a wicked opportunity every day to have just like those random problems that show up at your door that you know you can solve with what you have. Is just figuring out the right solution for the problem that comes in.
Yeah. Sometimes it's the easiest one, the easiest solution. Sometimes it's spending money or finding the money to spend on fixing a problem, because it's if I think if I had a superpower, that would be it: being able to solve a problem. And it is at home, working on a project, or you know, with the at work, or on the golf course, whatever. It's still trying to figure out how to solve a problem. And I really enjoy now in this the last 5, 6, 7 years, is being able to help try to solve someone else's problem that hopefully have an impact elsewhere, like circular economy, or you know, how to recycle plastics, or how to utilize byproducts to make something else. So like that's pretty cool. It's a pretty cool thing. And from a fairly creative background to something that's more industrial or whatever, I have no idea how I got here, but I'm pretty happy for the opportunity, that's for sure.
Yeah, I think, you know, seeing you do that, you know, has opened my eyes to what I guess creativity is too, because I think it can feel like painting or drawing or filmmaking or animation, or, you know, some form of like traditional art form. But I feel like creativity, like you say, is like, there's a problem. What's a simple solution? What's a interesting solution, and weighing all those and figuring out the best thing for it. Because you guys do from the macro, working on dams and massive things, down to like the micro and working on tiny little,
Right now it's atoms.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
Which is like, that's a different world, but we don't have to talk about that right now. But it is literally huge to tiny, and and everything in between. It is
that is interesting, because you guys do GIS too. You guys do massive, huge.
We talk about it. It's like, so tomorrow we have no idea who's going to walk through the door and what problem they're going to bring in. If it's a part for a car that they just don't make anymore because it's from the 60s or the 40s or 50s, to a part from the dam that was built in 1908, to something brand new. Somebody walks in the door and says, "Hey, I need to make this, and I need to figure out how to animate that character in the reel." Right? Like, so it is. Every day somebody either calls or brings in something new, and it's pretty cool how to figure out how to solve that problem.
Yeah, I feel like I was watching a car show recently, and they were talking about rebuilding a hypercar, and the problem with rebuilding hypercars is that they only make limited supplies, 10, 20, 30, under 100 of these vehicles. So they don't mass manufacture the parts that are for them, because they're such limited. So it's like, if you break something on that car, they need to probably manufacture that part for that car, and it's going to take a while, and it's going to be expensive. So maybe there is a hypercar part manufacturing opportunity here, is what I'm saying.
Right.
Where
totally.
I think we'd need to buy the hypercar first, though, and then 3D scan all the parts. And yeah,
totally.
I don't know if there's a grant for that or not, but
Hey, you'd be surprised. And I think half of my job has been, over the last, 15, 20 years, has been, I'm a salesman. Yeah. And I'm selling my idea, which usually comes with, it's for the right reason. It's for, a student pathway or learning opportunities, or to bring the college to a different place. And it's like, how do we pitch that idea? So if there's a need for a hypercar, whatever part that we need to make for that thing, as soon as we can figure out how to make like really sick golf carts, or we've already helped somebody make skis and snowboards and bindings and everything in between. So it's like I said, man, it's how somebody comes through the door. Yeah. Right. And that seems like a cool idea, and let's do that.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's like, I work with a lot of people, but they bring me their ideas, but I'm then doing something digital. Yep. And it's animation or video or whatever it might be, and people are bringing you their ideas, but you're then creating something tangible and physical, 3D printing, manufacturing something, and to a prototype stage, and then to a final design. Yeah. And then even looking at how to then, if you want to manufacture that en masse, what that process would be like. That's pretty cool. Do you have any part of it that, like right now, first off too, though, I think sales is something that doesn't get talked about enough in everything we do.
Academic,
and in what I think, I'm guilty of it, where I get my head down, I'm busy on a project, I finish, and then I'm like, oh yeah, I need another project. And then also when it comes to grants, we live in a country where there's lots of opportunities for grants that lots of people don't know about. And then the process of like writing a grant, if you've never written one, is overwhelming too. So I think, not that I have the answer, but I think spending more time on the sales side, and lots of sales is just being honest, ultimately. And I think, that shines, but just kind of not just always putting it into the background, because like you say, it's what you're doing all the time anyways.
Yeah, absolutely. And trust in somebody, find a friend, find somebody that you 100% believe in, that is the best writer ever. And I just happen to know two, and one is one of my best friends growing up since however many years ago we met. But the other one, she changed my life, and I tell her that every opportunity I can, because She wrote the very first grant that I really didn't think I had a part of, but it was this lab in Trail called the Midas Lab. And she wrote the grant and got it, and then called because she needed help to have somebody actually fulfill what she had written. And I'm thankful for the college to let me do that, to help with this vision. But since then, she has been just like a huge resource that we can rely on, we can trust in, and she's been so successful in telling the story of what we do here in the Kootenays, in this rural area, and it is literally in the tens of millions of dollars that she has brought into this community for applied research, for learning, for teaching, for just research into really cool areas. And just awesome.
It's interesting too.
Not only her, but then my boss, who is, my boss is one of the best writers. She knows how to tell a story. And again, I recently looked at the research dollars that she's brought into just Selkirk College, and I think it was $15 million, and it didn't count this year, which is already going to be ridiculous. And that means people's livelihood. That means student opportunity. So it's finding those people to help, even if it's a small business trying to get 10 grand to start a project or to succeed in something, not in the tens of millions, which is huge for rural. It's really unheard of for this area.
Yeah, I agree. I think that writing and being able to tell a story compelling, and just take like what could be this massive, sprawling thing and condense it into like,
the story.
Here's the story. Here's the parts. Like making a good soup. It's like you can't just put it all in there. You need to like choose the ingredients of it and then flavor. But like typical writers, how much like influence and how big of an impact they've had, but in the shadows they stay. It's like they just kind of operate, and it's nice for them to get their shine, because it is. Yeah, it's such a huge part. And anytime I've opened up a grant application, I'm just overwhelmed.
Where do you start?
Man.
Yeah.
And just the language, like how it's just so foreign. Like it does feel honestly like they want something. They're using language to get something that I don't understand how to give them. Yeah. Like
your language is visual.
Yeah.
Right? It's not necessarily always a written word.
And it's even like, I like writing, but it's like I just feel like how grants, it's almost, there's a whole other language there. So I feel like, knowing someone who can almost decode it in a way. Yeah. Totally. Like, here's what they're actually asking. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And because I've always been a for-profit business, hopefully more profit than not. Sometimes it goes the other way, but often in these grants, I'm have my for-profit brain on. It's like, of course I wanted to make money. Of course I wanted to, be commercial. And lots of times it's like, well, this is more about you as an artist researching, or don't know the right word right now, but more on the development side of things, and just kind of getting away from the commercial stuff and just being artistic. Yeah. I feel like that is a superpower. Some people have it. Aaron definitely has it. Yeah, Terry sounds like she has it. I need an Aaron and a Terry. Aaron and Terry. I love him too, but if you have some free time. Not to like keep going on about Stack, but like Stack in this area has had a huge impact on what I do, on the people that in this area do similar things to what I do, filmmakers. I've been able to utilize what Stack has done to create shots for massive TV shows and productions. So it's been hugely influential and an advantage here. So I talk lots about the disadvantages. It's been such a wicked thing to have. And JT on his own beyond that, just as like a friend and a mentor, has been super influential in my being able to continue doing what I do. Because sometimes it's creative. Sometimes it's, I'm trying to do this thing. Can you give me an idea how to do that? And other times it's like, I'm in the middle of the project and my computer just died.
Yeah, hard drive died.
Hard drives are gone.
7:00 at night. Yeah.
The project's due. How do we recover? And it's amazing that like before jumping on Google or something to like try and figure out an answer, I make that call. And from that call, I get usually, hey, it's okay, man. Calm down. Yeah. So I get this like calming, chill.
I'm on my way.
Yeah. And then like, it's all good. I'll be over. And things are handled calmly. So yeah, I feel like that's been a resource that lots of people don't have actually. Find yourself a JT too, if you can. That's the other thing I'm learning right now.
Yeah. And I have, like, the guys I work with are like in their field, in their area, they are unbelievable. And if I'm my coworker Corey, I've got a problem with my car, and oh my God, it's like driving me nuts, and I need to do this on a Sunday, or I'm not driving to work. I can call somebody, and I know that this guy's going to drop everything to answer a question or laugh at me or whatever because I don't know. And those things are that's important to be able to have that network of people that just know, right? Totally. That have been there, that can understand certain things. I have a problem right now when I have this idea in photogrammetry that I'm going to do, and I know that there's a fix in After Effects, and it's like, do I really want to fire it up again after 5 years and like humble myself because I haven't touched it to call you and get that answer fixed? Or maybe it's Frankowski, get Derek to answer this question because he's been using DaVinci for so long. I don't know if he's going to have that answer, but it's a pretty creative problem, and it's like, okay, like I can't find the answer myself. I'm going to have to call you. So having that resource is pretty cool. Pretty cool.
Yeah, especially when your resource has access to other resources. That the network, it's like I might not know, and like having those people that then might know someone who knows someone.
Luckily, after 26 years and however many students that is, that resource pool is pretty massive. Like, like the pool of knowledge that they've taken from this little 2-year program, and just like, it's pretty epic, dude. Yeah. Like, pretty epic.
I feel like a big thing I see all of you down at Stack doing is like very curious, and I feel like curiosity is like the like secret key to unlocking everything. Just that takes that little bit of curiosity to like just give you enough of a peek through to be like, oh, and then you kind of get through that, and I feel like if you know too much, you don't want to start because it's like, whoa, that's way too much work, or we'll never be able to afford it. But when you know just a little bit, you can kind of peek through. It just gets you to that next stage, and then you're too far in to kind of turn around at that point. It's like, well, we better make this work. Yeah,
going back to the very beginning when you said you got to this piece of art that you created and you showed me, and you were so proud of this piece of work, and I ruined it for you and just said, dude, you should make that move. Which you were probably fairly pissed at the time, but to now it's like, to have given you that nudge to do what you do now, man, like,
Nudge. That's a good name for a motion studio.
It's epic. Like, I see you and Jer and Matthew Peak and Babiar, and like that class, that crew was pretty unbelievable, man.
Yeah, at the time it definitely felt magical. It felt like I'd landed in the right place at the right time with the right people, and from that has been 22 or more years of creating and convincing people to pay me to do it, which feels pretty great. So thank you. We can wrap it up here. And thank you for all the support over the years.
Yeah, man.
Thanks for the nudge. And, definitely expect my calls coming forward still.
Yep, totally.
And I literally will be calling you in the next probably 5 to 10 days about this photogrammetry. The hard drive is shipped from New Zealand, so
Nice.
I should get it here shortly and we can take it from there. But thanks for coming in.
Yeah, buddy. Thanks, man.
Thank you to JT for hanging out with us. I'll never be able to say thank you enough to all the inspiration, knowledge, and literal project-saving help JT has given me over the years. All I can say is find yourself a JT and a writer. If you're an incredible writer, call me too. Until next time, see ya.